Hi, this is Russ Benson. I am a Liverpool supporter, and you're listening to Drunkard United Football Show. You all need Jesus.
So, did you pick that one just because it's another club that starts with an L?
Maybe.
Since we couldn't find anyone from fucking Luton Town.
We found someone. I reached out to them. They decided to not answer my call.
Well, you know what? If they dealt with iron ore in their city, they probably would have responded. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston. Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Snub of my lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Graham, and across the way from me is my co-host, Mr. Sam Houston. How you doing today, sir?
Well, just a tiny conversation that we had off mic that I think needs to be addressed. Yes, it takes two people to replace you, but if you had to do the show without me, it means I'm dead, and you two wouldn't be able to do it because you'd be crying. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'd only be off for a week. It's less than we'd be off for the summer.
That's dark for our second show in season 6.
Hey, give me a break. I just had open heart surgery.
Fuck off. It is the preseason.
All right, stint boy.
On the ones and twos is producer Mel, but I'm not married to her, so I don't give a fuck how she's doing. Just kidding. Mel, how's it going?
Can I answer this time?
Yes, I will give you the floor.
I am enjoying a lot of frosty adult beverages.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. How's the weather up there? A little humid?
It's a little hot and humid out here in Crownsville.
Why?
Is that the greater
intro?
Pittsburgh area?
Well, it is the steel city of Annapolis because, we've got lots of ore and either.
We have oars because it's a seafaring town. We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. We are available on all of your podcast platforms. Or you can stream in because we are live every Monday night on most streaming services. Should you want to chat with us, there are many ways you can do so. Mr. Houston, please tell the good people how they can get in touch.
I do the cut-in way better than you do there, stud. You got to have comedic timing. You have none.
Can you just please?
I'm going to edit it.
I asked you a fucking question, okay?
We are at DU Football Show on all the socials. See, that's how you do it.
This is how you drive the fucking
we are
bus.
also
Okay?
DU
Fucking get on
Show
task,
at gmail.com. And of course, if you ever want to support the show, go check out our DU Drip Shack. That's
There you
not
go,
to be confused by the sack, which is our link tree is pinned to all of our social media sites. You can check that out. And of course, we do also offer extra programming, patreon.com/DU Football Show to check out Injury Time and Soundcheck.
Yeah.
Great. All right,
There's
good.
a lot of spicy gossip on Soundcheck lately.
Let's go ahead and just cross off that plug for the end of the show since you already did it and took that upon yourself over there.
I'm just trying to
Nice.
emulate you and do it at least 5 times.
All right, good. Or you could just zoom your... Oh, wait, you can't because you don't check your emails. Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirits industry and have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. However, this is our second show of the evening. We have the same cocktails we did before.
Yeah, but we're drinking beer. Let's talk about
We
the
are
beers.
drinking beer.
We're not doing Injury Time.
That's correct. So let's talk
Which
about...
you can find on patreon.com/DU
The Burrs.
Football Show for just $5 a month. That would be 2.
No, he spells it. You got to spell it out. You're not going to.
Patreon.
No, I'm just going to do it 5 times like he does.
All right, there you go. So I am drinking Cosmic Crown. It is a Belgian-style golden ale. Excuse me. Clocking in at 9% alcohol from Cigar Brewing Company in Tampa, Florida. Because, Tampa, hot down there.
It is. Part of the greater Mobile Beach area.
Yeah, right. Read the rest of it's not just a American ale, it's an American strong ale.
No, it's a Belgian-style strong golden ale.
Yeah, you didn't say strong.
Listen, being so close to Dallas, they should know what they're doing, is all I'm saying.
Dallas, that's an ore town, isn't it?
It says, it gives the specific instructions to drink fresh, do not age. Something I wish my husband would have listened to. It says...
What? Get myself a 20-year-old? Sure.
Instead of searching for gold hidden among our galaxy, we've brought galaxy hops to the strong golden-hued Belgian-style ale to add some notes of passion fruit and peach to the profile, making the beer out of this world and fit for a king.
It's bloody fucking delightful.
I told you. I don't know if you guys saw me when I took a sip. I was like, ooh.
It's delicious.
Sipping cups. Y'all are going to love this.
And when you're that close to Narnia, it is out of this world, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not. It's got a that big hop. There's hops included to it, but it doesn't have that big hop bite.
No, it does not.
I think that's because of the high alcohol. Kind of that hop rounds it out a little bit. But that's a lovely little beer.
Yeah, it is delicious. Actually, very, very good.
Yeah, the fruit backbone is very subtle, and the peach.
It's only
really
there because you saw Barbie.
Rounds it out. What? I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
Yes,
it's
you are.
fantastic to be wrapped in plastic. I don't remember how the rest of it went.
It's fantastic to be plastic.
Yes, that's what.
It's fantastic
To be plastic. I'm a Barbie girl. So
You're driving the bus, motherfucker. I know how to keep my hands off the wheel.
Excuse me.
Oh, Lord.
How's that for a bus?
And there goes our new season bump of listeners.
Gone.
So I have Atlas Brewing Brewery, the Naptown Lager, brewed by Atlas Beer Works in Washington, D.C., so not even in the state of Maryland. The science of Naptown Lager is you could pair it with soft shell bits. BLTS. What's that?
BLTs or no? I don't know.
Soft shell BLTs?
I don't know.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Rockfish tacos and boat shows.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Boat shows.
Probably also in that case, pair it with some hose too. Boats and hose smell, get it? It's 4.7% by volume, and it's brewed in DC, and apparently the brewery has some solar powers.
Hey, by the way, Mel.
Take a sip out of that first
trying to
because I don't
remember.
have cups.
I know I saw somebody on Facebook do a post of a soft-shelled crab BLT recently, but I don't remember where it was.
I've lived here my entire life, and I never heard of that being a thing.
Is
Have
Graham
y'all?
upside down on the camera again? Because he's black on my screen.
Yep.
I knew it. And by the way, in all fairness, you're talking about we've lost the new listener bump today. We lost the new listener bump on the Sheffield show that's already been released. That's where we lost him already.
Zing. That's a dig against ourselves because we're insecure.
I've had this a number of times. It's
a delightful little lager.
This is great when you're sitting outside on a deck in Annapolis.
I want to read, but you can't read.
Well, Mel, we are on stream. If I were to stand up and turn around, we might get banned.
I've already got a video of it.
That would
The
be
St.
what Sam
Patrick's Day.
failed to mention, onlyfans.com/DU Football Show. If you want to see Sam's can.
That might be the one social we are not on.
Exactly. For those of you who do not know, I'm trash. I like really cheap American lager.
Pairs with soft shell BLTs, rockfish tacos, and boat shows. I don't know what your problem is, Graham.
I thought it said bits.
Yeah,
I didn't realize
you-
it was an L.
Honey, you've been in Baltimore too long. Welcome back to the county.
Who does soft shell BLTs? I don't know. I've never heard of that before.
It's-
And remember, this is my old stomping grounds. Thank you very much.
Also, remember too, it's the letter T. He came from Baltimore. He can't pronounce it correctly. It's Balmer for him. So
Excellent.
BL
point.
Durs.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's fine.
So I have a love affair with cheap American lagers.
You already said that.
Ice House drinker. Oh, fuck off. Patreon.com//DU Football Show.
Oh, God,
Just
shame
$5 a
on
month,
me.
3 times.
Shame on me. Old Line Eats. Look at that.
Are they the food truck tomorrow?
Food truck, no, but our boy Rob Ripley does an amazing soft-shelled crab BLT, and he is Thursdays at Odenton Fire Department
It looks
for the
good.
4 local listeners we have.
Oh, very
It
good.
does look good.
Very good. That's over nearby you. You can get to that. The
Food truck Thursdays. We need to teach you about that.
at the Odenton Fire Department, it's like 20 food trucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's pretty fabulous.
Huh. Okay. Is it every Thursday?
Every
Thursday during the
See,
summer.
we used to do third Thursdays in the old neighborhood where we would have a
every Thursday. And then you
Bougie.
get there. You can go inside the firehouse and
bougie,
eat your food.
wasteful. All their pump running gas back there.
I feel like my boy Hiram. Oh, that's right. I'm not driving the bus, so it doesn't really matter. I was going to say Hiram, how he always has to wrangle everybody in because they go off on these amazing tangents, but it's not my show to run tonight. I do just want to say the beer that I am drinking is the Land Shark because while I do have an affinity for American lagers, I also have an affinity for just the standard Mexican cerveza. So this is an American version of a Mexican cerveza, and it tastes wonderful. Thank you very much.
Knock, knock.
Who dare?
Land Shark.
Land Shark. Land Shark.
That is a bit for anyone born before 1976.
Yeah, you won't remember that, Sam. That is a very, 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 very early bit on Saturday Night Live with Jim Belushi.
Where am I right now?
It was Chevy Chase.
I fell asleep there for a second. I just blacked out. I don't know what the fuck
It was
what we're
Chevy
doing.
Chase that was the Land Shark, but he ate Jim Belushi.
Oh, well, he ate a lot of people.
Not Jim Belushi, John Belushi.
Luton Town Football Club. Welcome to the motherfucking Premier League, all right?
Drove the bus.
Welcome to the motherfucking Premier League. Here is a small, brief snippet about the founding of the club.
Very cool.
Originally, a couple of different clubs. The Luton Town Football Club we know today was officially founded on the 11th of April of 1885. Luton had several clubs, the most prominent being Luton Wanderers and Luton Excelsior, which I really wish they went with that.
Excelsior!
Yeah, sounds like an Enron ad from the
Yeah.
mid-90s, doesn't it? Enron Excelsior.
Ride the Excelsior!
One of the players had the idea that they should form a town club and include the best players from each team, essentially merging. The secret meetings between club secretaries took place in January of that year, and they came to the decision that that's what they would do. Newspapers, though, would often misrepresent the club's official new name, and it led to unrest in the town, as the name they used was Luton Town, parenthesis, late Wanderers, end parenthesis, which ostracized the Excelsior players and supporters from the initial identity. That changed in April when the two club secretaries decided to hold a democratic process at the town hall to designate the new club as Luton Town. And though somewhat tense, with the few months of agitation by the print media and secrecy of the meetings to form the club in the first place, it was finally achieved and the new colors were chosen, pink and dark blue.
Very cool.
Hashtag Barbie. There was also fucking fake news. If you say things don't come full circle.
Luton Town is Knuff, okay? That's all there is to it. Luton Town's Knuff.
Yeah, so Sammy, why don't you get into why they're nicknamed the Hatters?
Yep, absolutely. They are the Hatters. Luton in Bedfordshire, England, has a historical track record of harboring some fine talent in the hat industry, also haberdasheries, and that's the hotbed for the craft. So hence the Hatters.
The Hatters, yeah, absolutely. So just a brief history on the club. They only have one major trophy in their history, which was the League Cup in 1988, which happened to be a 3-2 win over my beloved Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
They were the Southern League's first team to become fully pro in 1890. And wanted to compete in a better division, which was the Football League, with the older clubs of the North and Central England. So they applied and got accepted into that league and did so in 1897, all while moving to a new ground. That imposed a new financial crisis on the club.
Mm-hmm.
The town wasn't a super hotbed for anything other than hats.
And now
really.
you're traveling all the way to the north part of the country to play
You're
most
traveling
of
up
your
to Manchester,
games.
you're traveling up to Birmingham, you're
Yeah.
traveling, Bedfordshire now is widely considered part of the greater London area. Watford is 2 towns down from them.
Yeah,
essentially.
Fulham also had joined the club, had joined the professional league at that point too, hadn't they? Weren't they one of the first?
They were the first in London itself. Yeah. But this was the first that particular league.
Okay.
The Southern League club to go fully pro.
Got it. Very good.
And then they wanted to join the Football League, of which, like, Arsenal were already members, which I'm coming on to, joining in 1893, so just 4 years before Luton Town, in 1897. But they were the first in the quote-unquote Southern League that was fully professional.
Got it. Very cool.
But this, like I said, imposed financial crises on the team, and due to that, they have, despite that, they've actually seen a fair amount of time in the top flight. over the years, over 20 seasons in the not the Premier League, but in the top flight of English football in general. But because of those financial reasons back in the day, they did have to withdraw from the Football League in 1903, not returning until 1922.
Okay, yeah.
Which was interesting. I'm sorry, 1920. Despite those financial troubles on and off in the club history, part of which they wanted to relocate the ground, as I said, they ended up not being able to. They couldn't find a suitable location, so they've been stuck kind of at Kenilworth Road all these years. That capacity has fluctuated as standing room was eradicated and seats were brought in. The capacity at one point of that stadium was upwards of like over 25,000.
Right, because you could stand.
Which meant you could pack more people in.
Right.
So if you want to run into a couple of interesting facts, you're more than welcome to do so, my friend.
I would love to do that. So born in England, but representing the Democratic Republic of Congo for his national team through partners, Polly Rudek Mpanzu is the first player to go from non-league all the way to the Premier League with the same club. So we talk about how Jamie Vardy has played in non-league football all the way up to the Premier League. This cat went from non-league when they were down there with the same club all the way up to getting promoted to the Premier League, which is awesome. And he joined Luton in 2013 when obviously they were Conference North team non-league, winning promotion to League Two in the 13-14 season. 4 years there, they went to League One. And then in the 17-18 season, another promotion. And then a year after that in the championship, snagging final promotion spot via the playoffs this season. And he is 29 years old. So he'll probably get a minute or two up in the Prem, which is an awesome story.
Hopefully. Absolutely.
Now, and then also, they are just the second Greater London-based club to be a member of the Football League after Arsenal, whose membership was in 1893, as you mentioned.
Right, yep, absolutely. Their biggest rival is Watford, which is another Bedfordshire-based club. Either city being... well, they might not be cities. I don't know if they have cathedrals, which is the old standard of deciding whether or not you're a city or a town. But both towns being situated either side of St. Albans and both widely considered part of the Greater London area. And they also play at Kenilworth Road, which we've mentioned. This season, I don't remember. I know Liverpool's having trouble with some of the construction and renovations going on in Anfield. Have we gotten an update on whether or not Luton Town is going to be ready for the opening couple weeks of the season? Because I remember they had a lot of things they had to do to come up to capacity standards.
To my understandings and what I've researched thus far, because, I do my research, because it's very important to do your research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything on it, which I'm not. All I could find were Liverpool-related articles about Anfield not being up to snuff.
Yeah, they're on.
It's the biased northern-based media.
They're on track. They aren't opening the season at Luton, so that helps as well. That helps,
yeah.
That helps quite a bit. And, we'll talk about it when we get into what we think it's going to go for them and all that good kind of stuff. But, Kenilworth Road, that has been kind of the darling of what the Premier League has talked about so far, is this stadium where if you're a visiting fan, you have to literally walk through somebody's backyard to get into the stadium.
Which is awesome. I mean, that's, what we all fell in love with. Remember when Tottenham played Chorley? Or whoever it was up north. And we saw that again in a couple other of those kind of highlighted FA Cup games with lower league teams, where people's backyards literally back up to a fence, and the other side of the fence is the fucking pitch.
Yeah, and they're just standing on the top of their fence looking over with chairs just watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just see just taking cans in, right in their backyard. Yeah, I remember we saw one lady drinking a bottle of rosé. During that game,
they were, they talked to us about like whenever English people come around, they're like, oh, this tailgating thing's fantastic. I'd be like, go to non-league football. There's plenty of places. Just go chill out in somebody's backyard and watch a match.
And watch it live at that. Yeah,
throw $5 to the groundsman, tell them it's a donation, and just sit there and watch.
But it's pretty interesting in all of this, because the charm and the excitement that we're all feeling, and everybody's excited about the stadium in general, because it is a quintessential English ground, just literally in the middle of town. People's houses back up to it. There's gates, there's a bedroom, I believe, in one of the townhouses that is over that visiting gate to enter.
Precisely.
It's amazing. It's awesome. It's what we fall in love with. But at the same token, it is what has financially handcuffed this club for fucking their entire history.
Right. It's like, how do you look at other teams that have gotten promoted? Brighton had a brand new, beautiful stadium built right on the waterfront, kind of just out on the outside of town, this beautiful grounds. Brentford, right before they got promoted, brand new grounds, ready to rock and roll. Luton,
it's still not the biggest stadium. I think they only hold 36,000 or something, right. Brentford, but it's state of the art. And 36 is triple what Kenilworth Road currently holds.
Right. And Kenilworth Road, it's not easy to make reparations in a ground, repairs when it's just...
Your reparations isn't the word.
Yeah, exactly. My apologies. Said the wrong word there. But it's impossible to make repairs in a stadium surrounded by homes. Surrounded by homes.
It's not even repair, it's expansion.
Yeah,
you're literally, there's nowhere you can build except up.
Unless you want to pull a Liverpool and chase out all your landlord, all your tenants around you to build bigger, you can't do it. And how much money you're getting from the Premier League. I mean, yes, this is a great payday, but you immediately have to drop a lot of that investment right into the stadium to get it prepared for being in the Premier League. And then as a team, how much of that money you want to spend? You just got to, it's like winning the lottery. Do you risk
exactly
spending it all to stay up?
With their financial history we just looked at, as early as the 1903, they've had financial difficulties. That's 6 years after they were founded, and that has plagued them throughout their history. So you get this minimum, what is it, 130 million for the 20th place team now? Yeah. 130 million pounds straight away. You have to fix the stadium. That's regulation. You have to do that.
Yeah.
So are there going to be many signings? Are there going to be much else to do, or are they going to sit on that money and ensure the next 8 years of the club?
Yeah, and when you said they were in non-league football, we mentioned that they were in the Northern League. The Northern League is a step below the National League, so this is before it was redone.
Oh, okay, so the conference North and Conference South
they played each other
for that promotion spot.
Yeah, my apologies. That was out of turn on my end. Sorry.
Yeah, but it was not long after that it was redone and the National League was formed.
Yeah, but it just, this team, you gotta wonder, how is this all going to work now being in the Prem? You kind of got to look at it and go, all right, we just got handed a ton of money. We need to think about our future 10 years from now, not
exactly
right now.
And that leads us on to the signing, Sam. If you want to talk about a couple of those, and I'll chime in here. They've only got 3 major signings by my estimate. They've brought in 4 or 5 players at this point, but 3 of them actually, quote unquote, matter.
So they brought in Tahiti Chong from Birmingham City. So obviously got some good championship experience.
He's a winger, scored 4 goals last season, still young. But a decent Dutch footballer. You wouldn't know it from his name, but he's Dutch.
This one is actually a great little signing for him. Is Marvelous Nakamba from Villa, who
on a free, by the way, which is key.
Yep, there was no place for Nakamba to play. He never really bedded himself in at Villa, but he's a solid defensive midfielder. He knows what he's doing. Honestly, you need someone who's played in the Prem before to be able to anchor what is your... a defensive midfielder is ultimately the quarterback of your entire team. If you want to relate that to
absolutely
what professional, soccer is versus NFL, he's the guy pulling all the strings, determining where all the passes are going, making sure he's the one yelling out commands to make sure people are getting back and who's covering people. So
100%,
you need someone who's going to get that done. And then
I think that's a marvelous signing for them.
I see what you did there.
Thank you.
For more marvelous things, you can go to patreon.com/DU Football Show. Just $5 a month, and you can hear all the marvelousness.
You're such a prick.
And
you're such a prick.
The last one is was this a loan in or a signing?
This is a loan. This is a loan.
They got Issa Kabore.
I didn't want to go to a second page for 2 words.
Yeah. So Issa Kabore from Manchester City.
He's a right back.
And honestly, this is, as a club, when you are strapped financially, I'll go ahead and do a pro-Everton agenda the way we are. You got to do loans. And these big
loans
clubs,
and frees.
Yeah, these big clubs are going to want their kids to start to get Premier League experience. This is exactly the club you send them to. You're allowed 3, and you'll get 3, and you'll make sure those 3 get a lot of playing time.
Absolutely. And Tahiti Chong is the only permanent out of well, Marvelous Nakam is a permanent transfer, but he was free.
Right, he was on a free.
They only spent £4 million on Tahiti Chong, and then this one was a loan deal, and I'm sure the loan fee, because this is quite a young player, wasn't very expensive.
Well,
it was undisclosed, but it wasn't very expensive, I can assure you.
Let's also look at the a great comparison is like when Mel's Villa came up. They spent $100 million that first season because they were planning on, we're staying up, we're not going back down. For Luton, can you afford to make that gamble? I don't think you can.
Well, that's the difference in the size of the club, right? I mean, Villa's a big enough club and had a big enough owner, that they could afford to do that. And if they went back down, still wouldn't have folded or been in trouble. I mean, this is, I don't think Luton would have ran like that, but there's a potential because of the needing to pump money into the stadium now and needing to do that kind of stuff. If they were to get relegated immediately, if they don't handle their finances properly, they could be in trouble.
Yeah, precisely. That's my fear for them. So, Graham, all that being said, what do you think their future is going to be like? What do you think for them this season?
They're going to be a surprise package for the first 5 or 6 weeks. I think they'll be surprisingly in like 9th. Because they're just amped up, excited. They're going to be, kind of thing, get a couple of wins here, there, a couple of draws you wouldn't expect. And then they will probably sink like a stone and
pull a Blackpool
and finish in 20th.
Yeah.
Which will be sad for them, obviously. But I think they'll enjoy their jaunt. I think it's going to be a difficult place to go because of the way the stadium's built and then the extra insulation that those houses provide. It's going to be an atmosphere.
Imagine what the visiting locker room is.
It's probably dirt floor.
Wood bench. A wood bench, not even like a locker to put your shit in. It is probably a wood fucking bench.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be fun for a bit, and then it'll become a bit of a farce by Premier League standards, in my opinion, which is quite sad. You don't really want to see that, but I don't think there's really any other way for it to go. So we'll see what happons, but that's my opinion from this whole experience.
I tend to agree. I think they're 20th. I think they're going to go right down. I think they'll have like that. Oh my God, they had a 5-5 against Wolves.
Yeah,
like where you're just like,
how'd you manage that? It was probably because there's no Ruben Neves. Right. But in the middle of the park's all fucked up for them.
Yeah, I see that happening for them, and it's going to be a tough, long season for them. And it's great for them to get up. They're going to make a good amount of money on the way back down. And the big difference is somebody like Bournemouth had been there before. While they have a small stadium, they know how to manage their finances within the Premier League.
A little bit better, absolutely.
But then you look at teams like Brighton and Villa and Wolves and Nottingham Forest, when they all came up, they have the stadiums that can withstand you spending a ton of money to stay up. Or even Leeds, even though Leeds went back down, or Leicester, who has gone back down. But those clubs have massive stadiums and budgets that can afford to be in the Premier League. Just because you get $100 million check for getting up there doesn't mean you have the organizational structure to make that work. And while it is the coolest story and everybody's happy to see them, I think they are in big time trouble.
Absolutely. And on that note, it's going to wrap us up, actually. So thank you very much for letting me host this show. I know you're a little tired today. You just had that heart surgery and stuff and needed me to share the load. Problem. So no problem there. But do you have any parting words?
Absolutely, sir? I do. I wanted to say welcome to anyone in the local area that has checked out this podcast from the Naptown Blues Fancast, which is a project I did during the summer. covering the local team that played in the NPSL who won the Mid-Atlantic Conference. It was a great story. Broke the attendance record. I think they hold it's all but number 4 of the top 6 spots. And then the conference game, which didn't count towards the conference final, that did not count towards the total, broke the all-time mark, because it was a playoff game, so it didn't
So
count.
it doesn't count towards the regular season attendance yet.
Like to welcome all of them who've taken a moment to check out the show, and please reach out to us and let us know what you think.
Yeah, these shows are the least funny of the bunch because they're just literally getting to know the newly promoted teams. Stick around. It gets better. It's still preseason
the front
for
half
us.
of this was a hot mess.
Oh, August the 8th will be fantastic. That Tuesday night when we record live and do the 20 for 20. We call it the 20 for 20 supporter shit show because it is absolutely a mess.
Makes producer Mel's head explode.
One of our guys never can get good internet connection. One of our guys, shockingly, the Spuds supporter, the Tottenham Hotspur supporter, cannot and will not have any comprehension of how to operate the internet or Zoom and doesn't understand a mute button. Mel will mute him. He will somehow unmute himself to yell at his wife to make him dinner. And then we have to mute him again right in the middle of while we're talking to Crystal Palace when he's all the way at the bottom.
My favorite part about the 20 for 20 is the number 1 team in the fucking Prem, and we can't get a supporter for them.
Oh, yeah. It's always impossible to get somebody from old Checkbook FC. Hey, Mr. Graham went black on my screen again, so I bet you he's upside down.
He is.
Sure am. Sure am.
I love that I'll be able to look at that and go, it's black screen. That's Graham's upside down again.
Yep.
What to do.
So that's my parting words, Mr. Graham. You didn't expect me to have a parting word, did you?
No, of course I did. That's why I threw it to you. I will, ask you to please just take a deep breath and be careful because Heartspurs is what you have, sir. It's Hotspur is the name of the club. Ba-ding-dum. So that's going to wrap it up. Like I said, we are back next week talking to the new and improved Burnley. As we stated on the last episode you saw about 20 minutes ago.
Well, our moral barometer will be back in check because Pastor Brett will be with us to talk.
Yes.
So he won't be dropping F-bombs left and right while we will be, and he'll just try to
use
muscle
it as a
through.
form of confession to make sure before the new season my sins have been absolved. But thank you all very much for joining the DU Football Show. Remember to check us out on all the social media platforms at DU Football Show. The Drip Shack, which the link is in all of our bios, as well as Sam, one more time, please, can you put your leg out a little bit further and try to get us a little bit of cash from the cab that is the Patreon?
I put a little bit of rouge on my cheeks because, well,
The guys
boys
like that.
Let me go ahead and knock it out for the 5th time so I can complete what I like to call the Graham cycle. Patreon.com/DU Football Show. $5 a month. You get our wonderful injury time, which is us previewing the next week's action. We talk about our one adopted club, Ibs, because we're going to be doing a new show soon. And we do sound check where literally we check the mics and talk about our day. And it's a lot of fun. And there's a bunch of people who are already supporting us. We love it. And we'd love to have a few more.
Awesome. Absolutely. And if you were wondering how the podcast loan market works, it's the opposite of the football one. Usually football clubs get in younger, less experienced, but still very talented footballers for their teams. When new shows start up, we tend to send off the less talented, older pieces of the puzzle to help their show.
Heard.
I'm just kidding. We own that show too. Yeah. Come on. We'll see you next week, everybody. Thanks for coming out.
Good night.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston. Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Brooklyn United! Brooklyn United! Hit the fucking mute button.